This is the Scholarlynk news for 9th December 2020. Singapore's COVID-19 cases have been at an all-time low, with no cases in the community for 2 weeks of November. However, the adoption rate for the Trace Together app or token, which facilitates effective contact tracing, has yet to hit the 70% take-up rate. This is one of the conditions for the country to move on to the next phase of its reopening. The number currently stands at just over 50%. In general, the public has been adhering to the rules regarding wearing of masks, social distancing, and gathering in groups of not more than five. The Vice Dean of Research at the National University of Singapore's School of Public Health mentioned that the longer people are subject to restrictions despite having low cases, the more people will not be motivated to follow the rules. A shift to the next phase of reopening will show everyone that their sacrifices have not been in vain. Think about it. Why do you think Singaporeans have been complying with the other rules, but the take up rate for Trace Together is so low? Shouldn't people be eager to move on to phase 3 of reopening? Over in South Korea, there will be increased social distancing rules for the country's capital Seoul and surrounding areas until the end of the year. The country, which had seen initial success through aggressive contact tracing and other measures, is now battling the nation's largest wave of COVID-19 infections in 9 months. The health ministry is concerned that the local clusters in Seoul have the potential to become a national outbreak. As part of the new restrictions, most establishments must close by 9 p.m., large gatherings are banned, religious services must be held online, and strict attendance limits will be placed on school classes. The government will monitor the current spread of the virus before deciding if additional measures are required. There has been nearly a month of triple digit daily infections in the country, and if the trend continues, there could be a shortage of hospital beds. Think about it. Why do you think South Korea, despite making progress early on, is now struggling to contain the pandemic? Could it be that they let their guard down too early because of their successes? In Indonesia, in a bid to curb child marriages in the country, the legal age for girls to get married was raised from 16 to 19 in September 2019. The Supreme Court also issued stricter regulations on dealing with exemptions for children facing marriage before the age of 19. A handbook detailing the do's and don'ts for judges was also introduced to ensure that every judge understands their responsibility when handling underage marriage dispensation. The Supreme Court Chief Justice said that the courts act as gatekeepers and the last line of defense against child marriage, which can hurt the quality of life of the next generation. According to the handbook, judges must educate couples or parents about the potential negative impacts of child marriage on girls. Judges must also gain information on whether the children agree to the marriage, whether they are ready to wed, and whether the groom has a job to support the family. Think about it. What are some of the negative impacts of child marriage? If they are the same age, is the impact greater on the boys or the girls? An Indian teacher, Mr. Ranjit Singh Desale, was announced as the winner of the Global Teacher Prize 2020 at a virtual ceremony from London. He has decided to split half his $1 million winnings with the other finalists. There were 12,000 nominations from over 140 countries. The other finalists, who hail from countries such as Italy, Nigeria, and South Korea, will each receive 55,000 US dollars. This is the sixth time the award has been given out by the United Nations UNESCO. Mr. Desai stated that good education is the birthright of every student and that teachers were the real change makers who are changing the lives of their students. It is with this in mind that he decided to share his winnings. He arrived at a primary school in a small village in 2009 and in the years since has transformed school attendance among the tribal community from 2% to 100%. Think about it. Do you think a good education is the key driving force behind eliminating inequalities and driving forward economic growth? What can be done to help teachers provide quality education? Over in the United States, Trump's efforts to challenge the results of the recent presidential election are inspiring other candidates and have been embraced by many Republicans. Trump and his allies have put forth conspiracy theories, filed lawsuits without evidence, and even tried to pressure state lawmakers to seat their own presidential electors. He has found friendly lawmakers and party officials willing to support his claims and adopt his tactics. Already, some candidates are following Trump's lead by refusing to concede in elections and seeking measures to address their concerns. The head of the democracy program at the Carter Center, which was founded by former President Carter and his wife, feels that now is the time to create more trust in the election process. This could involve election officials to be nonpartisan and appointed instead of being elected by their parties, clarifying vague election laws, and ensuring more training for election workers. Think about it. Do you feel that many future election candidates will use similar tactics as President Trump has when they lose an election? How will this affect future elections? This brings us to the end of today's edition of the Scholarlynk News. Please subscribe to be notified of our new videos. And as always, goodbye and have a wonderful rest of the day.